So assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to continue our functions topic. So we are going to learn the scope of function in Python. Scope. So in Python, scope determines the point at which you can access a variable. It's what controls the lifetime of a variable and how it is resolved in different parts of the code. So lifetime of variable means that how that when the variable will be created and given space in the memory, and when it will be deleted from the memory. So it's the lifetime of the variable. So if you want to correctly determine the scope, we have a rule LEGB. So first one is L stands for local scope. Local scopes mean that variable that are defined in functions or classes. So if we have defined a variable in a function, we cannot access it outside that function, because it will be destroyed when the interpreter interprets the code outside the function. So as soon as the function returns some value or its body ends, all of its local variable functions or all of its local variables or in other words, every variable defined in its body will be destroyed. So we have enclosing scope. So variables defined in enclosing or nested functions. So enclosing is just something in a code block, and global scope is that variable defined the top level of the module or file. So global scope means that a variable having a global scope can be accessed anywhere in our file. And built-in scope, reserved names in Python for predefined functions, modules, keywords and objects. So Python uses this LEGB rule to resolve the scope of a variable in your program. So local scope means that a variable declared inside a function or class can only be accessed within that function or class. So let's make a new file here. And let's make a function. And we can print its value. So what it will do is it's printing 10. But so we are calling that function, and all of its body is being executed right at the function call. So what if I try to access it outside the body? So if I don't give this indentation and I try to access it outside the body, it will give us an error. If I try to change it to 11, what it will do, it will create a new variable. So if I print the myvar variable, what it will show? Do you think it will show? Let's make things interesting. let's make it a string, and this, so the my variable local to the function has a string, and the variable outside that function has a integer value. So you will think why we cannot access that hello string, because it is local to that function. So if I even comment this out, and you will think that we already have that my variable in a function, but I have already told you that the my variable will be destroyed as soon as the body or the function is ended. So as the function prints that value and exits the function body, the my variable will be destroyed. So we cannot access the myvar outside that class. So I am doing that, but it is giving us an error. So name error, my variable is not defined, because the my variable myvar has a local scope. So I think you have understood it. So yes, we are having a name error. Yes. So enclosing scope means that a function that is nested inside another function can access the variables of the function it's nested within. And let's make some generic function like out and let's make its variable and also let's make another variable. So we are defining a nested function here. So this is another function in that out function, and we have to indent it one tab more to make all of this code inside the body of the in function. So we are inside in. Yes, okay, yes. So body of first function, and then the outside the body of the outer function. So we are on the local scope now. What we can do, we can call the out function, so we are getting outside. This function is not being called, so what we can do, we can call it out further inside that body. So when this out function will be called and as the control reaches the end of the out function body, the in function will be called and this code will be executed. So yes, we are getting outside and inside. So first thing is that they are accessing their local scope variables, but what I can also do, I can access the so I can access all the variables of the class. So I can access all the function of all the functionalities or variables of the outer function when I am working in the in function or the inside function. So what we call this, we call the inner function as child and outer function as the parent in C++. Okay, so we are inside the in let's do it out. So it will work fine. Yes, and it is splitting out because we can access all the variables of the outer function. But can we do it the other way around? Like can we access the variables of the inner function from outside of the function and change that? So the answer is no, you cannot do that. So we cannot like write this here. One is that reason I have already told you. Second is that it is way before the declaration of the variable, so we can move that to here. Okay, we have to, yes. So the what we say, so the reason remains the same. Local variables get destroyed as soon as the control leaves the body of the function. So as the body of in function executes completely, all its variable will be destroyed, and so by logic we cannot access its variable outside the function. But when we are in the in function, we can easily access the variables on the outside, because the outside body, because the in function is already a part of the out function's body. So it means the body of the out function is not completely executed now, so all of its variables still have life. So we have been closing scope. If we want to access this variable, the local variable, outside that function, so we can call it with declare it with a non-local keyword. What it will do, it will allow us to, so what it will do, it will allow us to access or modify this variable even outside this function. So let's get it to it. So yes, I don't know why it's giving an error. INS. But we still have to declare this variable as a local scope to the out function. So we can access it outside this inner function. So we can so we have to declare this as a list in the list of the variables of the out function, so we can easily uh, access it anywhere in the inner function. So we can give it an empty string or a 0 or none. So yes, we can access it now. Yes, we are inside the function, and what we are doing, we are accessing this ins variable of the inner function even outside that function, but we have already declared it in the variable list of the outside function, and we are even using it here. I still cannot understand it, what's the use of it, but we will think of it later. So let's move on to global scope. So global scope refers to variable that are declared outside any function or classes which can be accessed from anywhere in the program. So if we define a variable here on top of our file, num equals to 10, so we can access it inside that outer function. We can even access it in the inner functions of the outer function or anywhere else in our program easily. So how we are getting this first 10? We are calling that out function, and in the body of out function we are executing a print function for the num variable, and after the definition of in function we are calling that in function, and in the body of in function we are printing num variable. So the second one is here, and outside, so on the file scope we are on the file or global scope we are calling that print function again. So if you want to make a variable behave like num, or in other words global, as a global scope we can use the keyword global. So if I try to access the out variable, it cannot be accessed because it is local to the body of out function, and yes, it is giving us error. So if I define this with a global keyword, so we have to declare it first, then initialize it, so we have to declare it first with the global keyword, and then initialize it, then we can access it anywhere in our program just like any global variable. So we are accessing it where? Outside any function. So yes, so what if we try to modify the global variable here. So we cannot do that. I think we can do that because I did not print the value. So yes, we can do that easily. So I have printed the value of out, which was outside, and then I updated the value of out to 14 and then printed it, and it is now showing 14. What if we change it? So yes, we can change it here. I don't know then what is the use of global keyword when updating a global variable. So the last scope is built-in scope, which refers to Python's all built-in function modules and keywords and are available anywhere in your program. So this built-in scope just means that we can use predefined functions, modules, keywords anywhere in our Python file, and this is just a pretty basic thing. So Python use the LEGB rule for its scope. Non-local keyword to allows modifying a variable from an enclosing function. Which keyword can you use to modify a global variable in Python? So we can use global. So we have to complete our functions topic. Tomorrow we will make a lab, then we will move on to workshop, another lab, review and a quiz. So we have completed the basics almost, and then we will move on to loops and sequence in 2 to 3 days. So this is it for today. Till then, Allah Hafiz.